सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Humble prostrations to one and all present here. So in the 9th chapter, Bhagavan first gives the Rajavidya, Rajaguhya Yoga, the secret knowledge, the royal knowledge. And what is that knowledge? The whole world has come from Bhagavan. The whole world is functioning in Bhagavan, existing in Bhagavan, and finally, the whole world dissolves in Bhagavan. All beings are alive because of Bhagavan. So he is the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam, the efficient cause and the material cause. So therefore, as creatures in this world, what should be our attitude towards our Creator? Our attitude should be that of Ananya Bhakti, single-pointed devotion. Everything in us belongs to God. Life belongs to God. Abilities and talents belong to God. Bhagavan is the one who is taking care of this body, keeping this body alive. All the sense organs are functioning because of him. Not only this body is kept alive by him, the whole world is functioning because of him. So therefore, single-pointed, unwavering devotion should be the emotion which we have towards our Creator. Whatever actions we perform, it must be performed as a worship of the Lord. Mahatmanastu mam partha Deivim prakritimashritah bhajanti ananya manasah jnatva bhutadim avyayam. This is the right approach towards life, right attitude towards God. So they are called as Nishkama Bhaktas. So now Bhagavan is giving different types of people based on the kind of knowledge they have about this world. So those who don't have this knowledge, they become abhaktas. They become materialistic people. They misunderstand that purpose of life is to eat, drink, and be merry in this world. So their entire life becomes wasted. This is the lot of abhaktas. Then we have the second category called Sakama Bhaktas. Who are Sakama Bhaktas? They think that having a conducive environment is a way to live happily. They do believe in God, but they have not become mature enough to understand that God itself is the goal of life. So they worship God, but only to get something from God. So they are called as Sakama Bhakta. So they worship God to fulfill their worldly desires, like heaven, etc. Abhaktas, Sakama Bhaktas, Nishkama Bhaktas. Now we are talking of Anya Devata Bhaktas. People who worship different gods, thinking that all these gods have independent powers. So here Bhagavan says, those people who worship these demigods, they are also actually worshipping me alone, but they are worshipping me in the wrong way. Now here, there is a topic to be discussed, and that topic is the Murti Puja, because this is one aspect for which Hinduism, our Hindu religion, is well known for, Murti Puja. So now, why did our Shastras, our scriptures, emphasize Murti Puja? You see, there are certain benefits of Murti Puja, advantages of Murti Puja, and there are certain disadvantages. We must have clear understanding regarding this. So what are the benefits of Murti Puja? Worshipping an idol is generally the spiritual sadhana prescribed for the beginners of spirituality. Why is it prescribed for the beginners? Reason number one, somewhere in our mind there is a deep impression that what I perceive through my sense organs, that alone is real. If something has to be real, if something has to be existing, it must be perceptible to our sense organs. For so many births from the beginningless past, we have been living in this world in different manifestations, in different bodies. And throughout these manifestations, we have been extroverted. We have been living in this world with our sense organs. So somewhere deep down, there is this notion that if something has to exist, that existent thing must be perceptible through our sense organs. So therefore, if God has to exist, then God has to be seen. That notion is there in the mind. It's a psychological conditioning that if something is existing, it must be perceptible to the sense organs. So as a beginner of spirituality, I want something perceptible in order to make me believe that God exists. So therefore, this Murti becomes a support for me in believing that God exists. Because this Murti is existent, so existent Murti I worship. Number one. Number two, when I do Murti Puja, there is this option available for me to choose the Murti according to my likes, according to my tendencies, inclinations. There's a choice given. And this choice is necessary because I have to worship that God. So when I worship a God in a form which I love the most, then that worship becomes more heartfelt. So this choice is given in Murti Puja. People have varieties of likes and dislikes. Their vasanas are different, tendencies are different. So therefore, this choice must be given to choose the Murti. For example, one person wants his God to be a powerful God, beautiful God, rich God, prosperous God. Then such a person may choose Vishnu as his Ishtamurti, Ishtadevata. Another person may want the God to be dispassionate, free from all desires, living in the minimum, absolutely contented, meditative, indrawn. Then that person may choose Shiva as Ishtadevata. People have different mindsets. Therefore, in Murti Puja, this option of choosing the Murti is given. Another person may want Bhagavan to be like a mother. Then he can choose Devi as Ishtadevata. So all these options are available in Murti Puja. This is second benefit. The third benefit is, when you have a solid physical Murti, meditation upon that Murti, upon that idol becomes easy. Meditating upon an abstract concept in the mind is difficult. But meditation upon a physical gross form becomes very easy. It is like riding a bicycle with lot of supports, like a tricycle with 3 wheels. When you ride that bicycle, the possibility of fall is very less. In the same way, when we have a Murti, we have 3 supports, as Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says. Kaya Vangmana Karyamuttamam Pujanam Japas Chintanam Kramat. So for the physical body, Kaya Karyam Pujanam. For the physical body, I have the option to do puja for the Lord. Doing puja is easier compared to meditation. And that Bhagavan has a name, so I can chant the name. So Kaya, Vang, Manaha support is there. The support for the body in the form of puja. The support for the speech in the form of name of the Lord. And the support for the mind in the form of contemplation upon that Lord. Contemplation upon the Leela of the Lord. All these things are possible in Murti Puja. Support for the body, support for the speech, support for the mind, all these things are available. And this support is necessary for a beginner. For a beginner, mind is not very pure, mind is not very concentrated. So for such a person who gets easily distracted, this support is very much essential. They act like crutches. Those who don't have strong legs, weak legs, they use crutches. In the same way, a form of the Lord become crutches for our body, speech and the mind. They act as a support for our body, speech and mind. So then what happens with this worship? We gain 2 qualities, Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Ekagrata. Chitta Shuddhi means purity of mind. Chitta Ekagrata means concentration of mind. And once the mind has become pure, we can always meditate upon that formless aspect of God. So these are the 3 benefits of Murti Puja. Number 1, we feel that God is an existent God because we are able to perceive through our sense organs. Number 1. Number 2, we are able to choose a God of our liking. That is why the name is Ishta Devata. Devata which is Ishta, which we like, which we are tuned to. So this is the second benefit. I can choose the form which I love. And the third benefit is, this form gives us a support for our body, for our speech and for our mind to contemplate upon. That is why Murti Puja has been emphasized in all our scriptures in our Hindu religion, because it is very, very useful, and generation after generation they have benefited from this method. Even a small child is able to do this puja. This small child grows up seeing his father doing puja, his grandfather doing puja, entire family is doing puja. At a very young age itself, this small child grows up. And this child is also able to contribute to this culture. For example, children are asked to pluck flowers because these flowers are necessary to do puja. So that becomes a sadhana for children. In kitchen also, ladies are asked to prepare naivedyam for this puja. So therefore, the ladies are also busy. You see, the entire family comes together in that attitude of sacrifice, in that attitude of worship, when this kind of puja happens at home. It becomes a bonding factor also. Something which everyone can do at different stages of their evolution. So this way, Murti Puja has been an integral part of Hindu religion. Now, what are the disadvantages of this Murti Puja? Now see, there is a law in this world. What is a law? As your thoughts, so will be the world perceived by you. As your thoughts, so will be the world formed around you. This is the law. So what happens to this upasaka who is worshipping upon a particular form of God? Slowly what happens is, as that upasana becomes more and more intense, he starts having vision of this God in his dream. He starts seeing this particular Ishtadevata alone everywhere. The mind is colored with that samskara. He feels that whatever is happening in his life, it is all the blessing of that particular Ishtadevata. So slowly, his life becomes colored by that particular upasana, that particular worship. And a time comes when he feels that this God alone is supreme. Because he is seeing it. He is seeing this God. He is seeing the blessing of this God. He is getting the vision of this God. So there is a possibility that this person may say, my God alone is supreme. All other gods are inferior. This is called a colored vision. Because this person finds that other gods, they don't appear in front of him as easily as his own God. He forgets that he has worked so much, and that is why this Ishtadevata vision is happening. However you train your mind, accordingly the mind will behave. The mind is nothing but the habits that which we have given to this instrument. So therefore, once the mind is colored with a particular samskara, that mind starts projecting such a kind of world. World is nothing but the projection of the mind. So what kind of world do we see? It depends on what kind of samskara we have given to our mind. So therefore, this person tend to believe that his Ishtadevata alone is supreme. And he starts finding fault with other devatas, finding fault with other worshippers. And thus, we have this fanaticism. This is one of the major defects of Murti Puja. So how to overcome this fanaticism? It is possible only through Vedantic Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. So there is a benefit of Murti Puja. There is a defect of Murti Puja. So what should we do? Make use of the benefit of Murti Puja. Make use of the benefit. It is very, very useful for Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Ekagrata. And once we have sufficiently developed these two, purity of mind and concentration of mind, then transcend the defect of Murti Puja through Vedanta Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Listening to the scriptures, contemplating upon the scriptures. Now what is the essence of these scriptures? The essence of the scripture is that this Bhagavan is none other than the consciousness in us. This is the essence. And this consciousness is formless. So this way we must learn to transcend our addiction to the form. And that is why in all our celebrations, festivals, etc., we have this Visarjana program in the end. Ganesha Chaturthi, we worship that beautiful form, but the last day is Visarjana. We have to immerse that form. So what is the message? The message is make use of the form and transcend the form. Go into the formless. The Navaratri Puja also same thing happens. Devi is worshipped and the last day Visarjana happens. The form has to be immersed in water. Make use of the form, transcend the form and attain the formless. This is the message. Now, somebody may say, Swamiji, I am not interested in Murti Puja at all. Will it affect my spiritual progress? Especially in the modern times, people ask this question very common. This question is very common. I don't know which Ishta Devata to choose. So therefore, I don't know whom to worship. But at the same time, I'm very much comfortable with Vedanta. I'm very much comfortable of meditating upon that consciousness. So in that case, should I have to have some Ishta Devata? So the answer is no, it is not necessary. It is not necessary that you must go through Murti Puja. It's not necessary. So, in our scriptures, there is something called Atma-graha Upasana. Atma-graha Upasana. That Upasana, a worship where Graha, you hold on to Aham, the I. So anyway, finally, I have to understand that Bhagavan as the I in me. So why not, in the beginning itself, start holding on to the I. The I is always with me. That consciousness is always with me. So instead of imagining some form of God, worshipping some form of God, why not hold on to that God as the very I in me? That's a very good technique, very effective also. But beware that this I is not the ego in me, the I is the witnessing consciousness in me. So when you start worshipping that God as a very witnessing consciousness, you don't know the glory, the real glory of I, but you know that it is in this I alone that I have to find God. So then that worship is what is called as Atma-graha Upasana. So it is not necessary that you should go through Murti Puja. This Atma-graha Upasana is also a beautiful Upasana. Provided you know that this Aham is not the ego, it is not the lower self, it is the higher self, it is also formless, it is a witness of everything. That sadhana is also very, very useful. So now, when we are discussing these two verse number 23 and 24, we have to be very, very careful. What is said in 23 and 24? Yepi anya devata bhaktaha yajante shraddhayanvitaha tepi mameva kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. Those people who worship other gods, they are actually worshipping me alone, but in the wrong way. Aham hi sarvayatnyanam bhokta cha prabhurevacha. I alone am the receiver of all this worship. When Bhagavan says there is a possibility of misunderstanding, misinterpreting verse number 23 and 24. What is the possibility of misinterpretation? Oh, see, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita has said that I alone am the Lord. All the others are Anya Devata Bhakta. So Krishna alone is God. All the other gods are demigods. They are powerless gods. They are inferior gods. This interpretation is wrong. So when Bhagavan says I, what has to be understood? Not that Krishna, that Vasudeva Krishna, son of Vasudeva, Yashoda Nandana. So here when Bhagavan is speaking about I, is speaking about himself, it is not that form. It is that pure consciousness which Bhagavan is speaking of. Otherwise, this will lead to fanaticism. People can quote Bhagavad Gita saying, see, Krishna himself has said that I am the ultimate Lord. Krishna himself has criticized the worship of all other gods. Therefore, Krishna is the supreme God. All other gods, Shiva, Rama, Ganapati, they are all inferior. This interpretation cannot be accepted. These are all the dangers of going through the literal meaning of these verses. These are all the mistakes committed by the beginners who study the scriptures by going through the literal meaning. So here what has to be understood? Who is Krishna here? So Bhagavan's definition about himself, Bhagavan himself is introducing himself in different chapters. So everything has to be kept in mind. Kshetrajnam chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. In all the bodies, I am that knower, kshetrajna. So Bhagavan says that. So such definitions have to be brought here. Also, in every Purana, you will find that particular deity says, I am the Supreme. In Shiva Purana, Shiva says, I am the Supreme. Ganesha Purana, Ganesha says, I am the Supreme. So if every Purana is saying, I am the Supreme, then who is the Supreme then? So then we have to take the deeper meaning. So in Shiva Purana, Bhagavan describes himself. Who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan says, I am Satchidananda Swarupa, the Supreme Self, the Param Atma, the witnessing consciousness. So in every Upanishad, in every Puranas, there is a description of that Supreme Deity. And all these descriptions are same. In every Purana, description of that God from the ultimate standpoint is Satchidananda alone. So that itself proves that God is only one. There are no too many gods to worship. So this possible misinterpretation we have to be careful of. So aham sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mam abhijananti tattvena atascha vantite. So these verses have to be understood in this way. Now Bhagavan says, Arjuna, everybody is a bhakta. Some way or the other, everybody is a bhakta. Everybody is devoted to something or the other. And according to their devotion, they attain different kinds of experiences, different kinds of worlds. So that becomes a definition of Chyavanti. Chyavanti means fall. So as was said in the last class, when Bhagavan tells something, he explains, elaborates it in the next verse. So Bhagavan has used two terms here, yajanti avidhi purvakam and tattvena ataha Chyavantite. Those people who are Anya Devata Bhaktas, they are worshipping in the wrong way, and because of which they have a downfall. What actually Bhagavan do you mean by these terms? That is the next verse which we will see in the next class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om